the heavens, planted the earth, gave us stars for direction. But what was it worth if we don't have love? Oh, your perfect love. You filled the oceans, painted the sky, gave us each other. So tell me why, why we're lacking love. Oh, why we're lacking love. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? Yeah, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? My Lord, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, you can prophesy, speak in the tongues you made, but if you don't have compassion, how will they understand that we were made from love? Oh, we were made from love. Oh, yeah. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? My Lord, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? Oh, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Time to spread more love. Oh, perfect love. Supernatural love. Your love.
Good morning, supernatural love. We love you, True Osborne. Everybody, we love True. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I'm Debbie G. It's time for, y'all know what time it is, a Cuppa Grata with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. Today I have a co-squirt, y'all. This is just going to blow your mind. This co-squirt's going to prove to you that God is real, or the universe, or whatever you subscribe to. I don't even care right now, because that's not even what it's about. It's not even. So listen to this, okay? This is amazing. Dr. Sondra Barrett calls herself an inner space explorer. With a PhD in biochemistry and former faculty at University of California Medical School, she veered off from the mainstream medical research to people caring and mind-body healing education. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking all kinds of stuff, guys. I'm just so stoked I can hardly stand myself. Author of 3 books, including Secrets of Your Cells, Discovering Your Body's Inner Intelligence. Her unique work includes her photographic discovery through the microscope of elemental sacred geometry. This unexpected discovery, photographing minerals associated with the zodiac, has led her to offering private elemental guidance readings based on people's birth data, as well as online programs about cellular and elemental wisdom. Her newest online program, Getting to Yes, Your Elemental Self, begins this month. Dr. Veered is also creating the Elemental Soul Wisdom Cards and Guidance book. Ooh, welcome to the screen. Sondra Barrett. Sandy, hi, welcome, good morning.
Hey. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks for waking me up this morning.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I'm thrilled. I'm grateful that you were willing to get up this early and come hang out with us for a minute so that we could, so I just am so thrilled that you're here. And I'm going to make the screen bigger so everybody can just see what's behind you. Yeah, that's not it. This is some amazing work we're going to be seeing today, everyone. Probably some of the most extraordinary work I've ever seen. Let's just take a dive into this. So you are a scientist.
By training. I always call myself a recovering scientist. Basically because when I was a scientist in a laboratory, I had one way of thinking. If it's not measurable, it's not real. And everything else I'm doing since then is not really measurable.
Okay, take us along this journey. Take us along this path. So, you went to school, you're a scientist, and you must have this solid proof that it is real. Is that what I'm hearing?
That what I've seen, you mean the photographs and the story of the photographs, is to me is more tangible proof of whether a divine designer, if you will, not to go off onto the fringe, but these shapes of the molecules and the meaning underneath the molecules, whether we're looking at wine or taste or the elements, can't be accidental. And since I didn't have an experience of any of that esoteric knowledge, I couldn't influence what I was photographing. I was just picking out what was the most beautiful, like going for a walk in nature. What was the most beautiful picture under the microscope? Okay. Or what was the most usual? So to me, that gives us a little more a doorway in or portal in to see what our inner universe is about. It's not just chemicals and cells, it's beyond that.
This is extraordinary. And just to give you, I'm only going to give everybody a glimpse because it's not time to dive in yet, but this is the kind of imagery we're discussing. And I'm not going to tell anybody what that is either. You have to wait. I'm going to show you again. Look, see? Don't you want to know I know you want to know what that is. I'm not going to tell you. Okay. So
you're a tease.
I've heard that a couple times there. I like that. Yeah. Good. I love that. Cuppa Grata. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. When I was getting ready this morning, and this overwhelming gratefulness hit me about the fact that I'm getting ready to interview somebody who is seriously going to show us the proof of the Creator in a way that I don't think I've ever seen. I mean, my heart was just exploding with just like, wow. So let's just go into, I don't even know where to start with you because there's so many questions I've got. It's like, all right, let's talk about the cellular structure. We're going to go first into the fabric of life and what this is that we're seeing.
Okay, so what we're seeing, this is actually photographs that came from an article from the Scientific American. And most of us think of cells as being basically jelly filled with a membrane and a nucleus and everything else thrown inside. Mm-hmm. And what those strands show, to me, it's the most exciting part of the cell. It's called the fabric of life or the cytoskeleton. And the cytoskeleton is like a matrix or a webbing that connects everything. It connects the membrane to the nucleus. It connects the mitochondria to other mitochondria that are the energy makers. It also it's like the connective tissue of the cell, and it connects the cell to the rest of the body. And do you want me to go into what it does?
Yes, please.
Okay. So for me, it was one of the most exciting things I read about science. It regulates the tension on the cell. First of all, it regulates the shape and the movement of cells. We knew that cells moved, but we didn't really understand how until scientists were able to see the structure. The structure is basically removed with regular microscopic staining techniques. So it took a lot of technology to figure out how to see this. And so when the tension on the cells, which is regulated by the cytoskeleton, that influences what genes are expressed. It will influence whether grow genes or die genes are expressed. It also, for me, what was most, well, that was exciting to me. What was also interesting, it's the place where some of the energy practices and sound can affect us at a cellular level because they're strings and they vibrate and they. So if we're humming, I mean, humming, I know you think you had Jonathan Goldman on not that long ago.
I did.
And he talks about the humming effect.
Correct.
Which he came up with a lot of the science about the benefits of humming. And it's not just humming in the brain. You know, we know sound affects our brain waves. Correct. But now we have a structure, every cell vibrates. We may not feel it, but I know when I've taught humming for decades in workshops, and when people hum just for a couple of minutes, their stress is lowered. That was long before I knew Jonathan's research. They can quiet their mind. So if we think about ourselves as a cellular universe, it's like, well, if I'm bringing the cells here in harmony, the cells nearby, you know how resonance works. Everything nearby will start vibrating at the same sound, if you will. So we've got this amazing structure in every cell that regulates the activities of the cell. I call it the decision maker. It's taking in the information that we're sending it from through our molecular our molecules of emotion, and it's a new kind of biology called mechanobiology, mechanics, which is much faster than what our chemicals can do. So if we think about, I'm going to relax my shoulders and release my jaw, all of that is affecting, all the cells are connected. We're moving ourselves into a more relaxed state just by becoming aware that we've got this fabric, the cytoskeleton, that is our cellular connective tissue, and it's vibratory. I've in the cell book, I call it the shapeshifter. It's almost like the shaman of the cell.
I'm over here. Anybody else just sitting here and just awe? This is the book we're talking, The Secrets. This is Secrets of Your Cells. Secrets of Your Cells. You can jump right over to Amazon and you can grab this, or you can also click on the brand new edition, which will be out later this weekend, of Grateful Living. And you're going to see a very special article from Dr. Barrett in there. This is amazing. So, oh my gosh, this is biomechanical epigenetics. Your biology, your belief is your biology. Okay, so I mean, Bruce Lipton has shared a different version of this where the genealogy is concerned and the DNA. Mm-hmm. What you're saying just makes total sense. This is our whole body. Our whole body is a vibrational is a vibratory string. We're all harps.
We're musical instruments. You got it. We're harps.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm choosing harp. Anybody? Who wants to be what? I love this.
I'd be a harp. I'd be a harp or a guitar.
This is or a guitar. I love that. I played guitar when I was little, and there's something about when the guitar is playing. I that's my favorite instrument in the world, actually. Mm-hmm. And I started playing when I was really little, and now my sons play, and a lot of my friends are musicians. And when I listen to it, I can feel the guitar music go all the way. It literally goes through my whole body. There is nothing else that gets me into that space faster than just sitting there, and I'm mesmerized. And guitars, if they speak to you, you can play them so that they talk to you. And we are guitars. I love this. Kathy's saying that we are musical notes and chords.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
This is and Steve Weber is loving you. Cytoskeleton. Yes. So everybody, we've got a lot of people just loving this, and thank you, audience. If you have any questions, please start popping them through. Okay, so we went into the science of the science of our cells and our body. So what's fascinating is that you took the work into other areas, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up what we showed everyone earlier, just in case anybody can't stand it anymore and has to know. So I'm going to bring this gorgeous piece of artwork up. What are we looking at?
We're looking at a red wine from Oceano, which is a winery in the San Luis Obispo area. It's a Pinot Noir. I think it's 2019. It was delicious. It's full. It's voluptuous. And the winery owner is thinking of turning it into some jewelry. We'll see where it goes, besides in her tasting room. So it's amazing wine. I mean, the image, I never know what I'm going to get.
So what part, this is the cell of wine?
No. This is what I'm calling it, molecular congregations.
Okay.
The wine from the bottle shouldn't have any, it shouldn't have any cells in it. There may be yeast in it, depending on how it's filtered. So it's how, a wine can have 300 different kinds of molecules. So it's how those molecules come together.
Oh.
What's the expression of the molecules in the wine? Congregations, collaborations. I've often been asked, would I do the research on isolating what this is and doing, that kind of science? Like, nah, I'm out of the laboratory. That's not, I know winery people would like, tell me what this is. And they're not so, some of them are keen on the art, but as a former scientist, I always wanted to use these images to help people enjoy wine in a new way. And does a wine look like it tastes? Because the first wine I photographed to basically see if I could be an artist in residence up at Sterling Winery up in Napa Valley. The first wine, I brought the pictures up to the winemaker and he said, that looks like the wine tastes. And I wasn't drinking wine. That was the 80s. I didn't like wine, so I didn't have any experience of it. But it was an interesting idea that the picture can look like what a wine tastes. And it's a different sensibility. We use words to describe a sensual experience when the image is much more a sensory experience. Yeah.
What a beautiful concept. And for everybody that's curious, you can get this right here. It is Wine's Hidden Beauty, Wine's Hidden Beauty. So you can go and purchase this. It is it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I want to see if there's any comments. It is interesting, right? Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Elaine. I love you. Okay, so let's go back to talking about, obviously wine has its own harmony.
Yes.
And just like we do. So is it safe to consider that if you were to somehow, can you do this with humans? Can you get those kind of photos?
No. I mean, it would be taking their blood, but having gotten hepatitis twice from working in my laboratory when I was at UC.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that's not such a plan.
Nah, sorry. I know people have written me, would I photograph their blood? And it's like, nope, sorry. But, people can use their imagination.
I'm just thinking it's got to be fascinating. I mean, really, but I'm looking at this. I mean, Y'all, this is wine. How
This is
is
wine.
anybody else in shock right now? Like, look at this. I mean,
Well,
it's extraordinary.
I'll give you another shocking story, if you will, because
Please.
I've photographed thousands of wines. In one wine, maybe 20 years ago, I saw a heart, and it was a very specific heart shape. And I thought, that's unusual. I've never seen a heart. And then I discovered that wine was made biodynamically. And I don't know if you know about biodynamics. It's organic plus a spiritual relationship to the earth and to the fermentation process. So since then, I went back and looked at some of my photos and learned that, oh, there were hearts and a couple of them. And then after that, they were all made biodynamically. So they were made with a different kind of intention than, to me, because I apprenticed in biodynamic farming many years ago, I saw that in biodynamics, there's a love for the land. There's an appreciation of the spirit of the land. And that's, the first time I saw that heart, I thought, these people really love what they're doing. And it shows up in their wine.
Wow. Okay, so let's pull this into that's reminds me a bit of like Dr. Emoto's work when he would with intentions and with water, and then photographing the molecule of the frozen water and seeing the beautiful, it looks like snowflakes.
Exactly.
It looks like snowflakes. So let's talk about intention. Seeing those hearts, how do we use this in our how did you convert that into our cellular structure? Because wow, you guys, do you understand how beautiful this is? Everything you're doing is proof of the creator, proof of source, proof of the great I am that I am, proof of God, and it's amazing. So how did you convert the wine and doing the intentions? You seeing this, it's like, wait a minute, working that within your own body.
Well, I was probably doing that long before I was doing the photography in terms of in the old days. I used to work with kids kids with cancer, doing imagery. And this was in the days when it was really woo-woo.
Yeah.
And just be able to get inside with your inner microscope in a way. And how do we feel ourselves? Do we feel ourselves with love? Are we feeling ourselves with anger and anxiety? What pictures come to mind? And can do we need to be able to shift the pictures, or do we just need to be able to honor what we're seeing now? And I know Jean Achterberg was a very well-known pioneer in imagery. And she would have people, she did a lot of the old research in cancer research, and would have people draw the pictures of what they were seeing. And then could they change the picture? What was the meaning in the picture? So it's in similar ways, we're not using a microscope. We're using our inner vision and our intention of what can I see inside? What do I sense inside? And you may not see it. You may just feel it. You may hear it. It may come out as a word. And well, is that what I'm holding for myself right now? Am I holding anxiety? I mean, how many of us during this pandemic have held more anxiety probably than in our lifetimes, plus being isolated? So how do we go in and be great? I mean, it's like what you're talking about, gratitude.
Yes.
Can I send what I do every day? I send my cells gratitude. I may not.
Oh, let's go through that. Yes, do that. Everybody ready? Let's do this. Let's go through a morning gratitude ritual with you.
Okay. Well, first I call in the directions. I look at the rising sun and great spirit, a mother, father, God, ancestors. Thank you for the rising sun. Thank you for a new day. Thank you for beginning. Then I go to the south. grandmothers, grandfathers of the South. Thank you for the blessings of the warmth of the day and the fire element and trust and innocence and creativity. And turn to the West. Grandmothers, grandfathers of the West. Thank you for the end of the day where the setting sun and the place of reflection, the looks within place, and then face the North. Grandmothers, grandfathers of the North, thank you for the ancestors. Thank you for wisdom and intelligence. Above powers, Father, Sun, Grandmother, Moon, Star people. Thank you for light and day, night and day, light and dark, the seasons, life. Mother Earth, under our feet, thank you for feeding us. Thank you for nurturing us. Thank you for gravity, embracing us to your breast. And then the last part is the inner self, inner direction, cells and molecules, spirit and soul. Thank you for being me. Thank you for holding me. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being with me today. Ho. I've never done that in public.
That was extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this show is Cuppa Grata, all about gratitude. And I don't think I've ever had anyone come on and express grateful beingness as beautifully as you. And yes, it was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, guys, let's go. All right, this is just amazing. So I hope everyone's understanding that you can truly set intentions for your day, and that because of the fabric of our life and cells, as Dr. Barrett explained, we are controlling what that looks like in our own inner being. Now, I'm going to bring this up. If you go to the website floating below, you can find her books here, Ultimate Immunity. Ultimate Immunity. I didn't even see. Oh, we're going to have you back on and talk about Ultimate Immunity. That's what we'll do next. Oh, goody. And again, look right here. Go to the website, Secret of Your Cells. Now you have a class starting, yes?
I do. In 2 weeks. 2 weeks, April 20th. It's a class based on the book, but expanded from the book. It's called Getting to Yes. And yes means your elemental self. So it expands, in a way, I'd say the technology of biology.
Okay.
All the practices and how do our cells work in a simple way and in a practical way. And because I got so enamored with the elements, it's like, well, where do the elements of air, fire, water, earth, how does that envelop or embrace our cellular self? So it's bringing in the elements from nature, the elements from the zodiac, and then bringing that all together is, what's your creative expression? How would you want to, over 8 weeks, draw your cells or your elements? Or do you want to create a deck of cards? Or do you want to create a song? So in there is really engaging your own creative intention, if you will, or expression of how you're learning about your cells and the elements, to make it real. If we don't embody it, it's just stuff up here.
Oh, that's that's super important. So you can talk it, but if you're not embodying it, it's just stuck up there.
Right.
I'm so 100% about that right now. I love that. Ronnie, if you're still on, can you please post the link for everybody to be able to sign up for the class? Thank you. I love you. Thank you. If you are watching the replay right now and you're like, oh, but I want the class, and you don't know how to get a hold of Dr. Barrett, by going to sondrabarrett.com, which is how you get a hold of her, you can always message us right here on Spirituality Gone Wild. And of course, we'll get you to the right place at the right time, because this class is going to rock. What I'm hearing you say is that this class is going to allow us to find our inner passions, our inner being, the thing that we're here that we love to do about creativity, tap back into the inner child that liked to make mud pies and paint with the fingers, or do whatever it is, but bringing that creativity, pulling it up and out, and bringing yourself into that yes moment. Is that allowingness to say yes? Talk to me about where you came, how that this all came to you to teach this in the elements, and then we'll go back to showing some more pictures.
Well, the elements story was something I never expected to happen. Friends had asked me to photograph minerals related to astrology.
Okay.
And I'm still a practicing scientist at the university. And it's like, I had no belief in astrology. That was woo-woo. Give me a break. I'm not doing this. I said, if you get me the pure minerals, though, because some of the work around the minerals and astrology was related to cell salts, which are homeopathic remedies. I said, get me the pure minerals and I'll photograph them, because I was taking pictures. I was showing kids pictures of their inner world. And so when I photographed the 12 salts with knowing nothing about astrology, there were 4 shapes. And so, of course, as the one who organizes or categorizes, classifies things, it's like, is there a 4 in astrology or in the zodiac? Yeah, the 4 elements. And so then the 4, when I looked at the images, the shapes of the 4 elements, we should ask the audience, what shape would they think the earth element would be?
Okay, you guys, what shape do you think the earth element would be? Get your answers. Let's go. It's going to take a minute because it's delayed. I'm excited. What shape? Let me think. The earth element.
Should I give them what the 4 shapes were so that they could choose a little bit with a little more?
Yeah. Okay.
So the 4 shapes were round, wavy, square, and hexagons. 6-sided. So which of those would you think is earth? Which would you think is water? Now, you may already know, Debbie, so
I don't. I'm sitting here trying to fill into this. The earth, they're saying round. I'm feeling wave.
Okay, well, those...
We're both wrong. We're all wrong.
Earth was round.
It is round, guys.
And all the water minerals were wavy.
So it's what you think it is.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here looking at the earth thinking, well, if it's vibrating, maybe it's going to be in waves, like kind of, because vibrational resonance, you see there's waves. You get it? Okay, guys. Well, Denise, she said the same thing. We're both so woo-woo, Denise. I don't even know what to think about us right now. Okay, so we've got round is earth, and the waves are the water.
Air is square. And fire was hexagons.
Oh,
excited. And then in the reality of life, so we don't,
I know
what's necessary, all of them are necessary in the creation myths, but we don't really get life until we have fire, right? Until it's warm. And
right.
we don't get life until there's 6-sided molecules. So sugar and parts of DNA and a lot of the hormones are 6-sided hexagons. So that, all of that blew my mind. And so I started maybe a year ago to start just teaching a course on the elements. What do we know? What do we know about them in terms of nature? What do we know about them in terms of Carl Jung talking about our personalities, our temperaments, how we view life? And then because I'm trying to meld my worlds together and not keep everything so separate, I decided last year in terms of teaching to start including a little bit of the elements with the cells. And so I did a class like that a month ago, and I just decided to make it a bigger class and to include creativity, because I've been taking, I don't know if you know Shiloh Sophia, intentional creativity. I've been doing some of her work, which also takes you way inside in terms of healing yourself and also your creative expression. So I figured they all needed to be in a class. So we'll see.
Well, I figure you're right, and I love this. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but this class is going, just unbelievable. Okay. I've heard you say more than once that we have the ability to when we go within, all the work you do is about going within, and one of the things I've noticed is that everybody's just looking outwardly. Well, did you see this over here or that over there or this over here or that over there? And if the situation over the last year and a half hasn't shown us anything, it's the opportunity to actually slow down, be quiet, and go within. What I'm loving about your work is that going within is not as easy peasy lemon squeezy at first as we think, which is why a lot of people don't, because, then the monkey brain starts and you get this and you get that. And so what I'm appreciating about you is that you are going to help people to discover how to not only go within, but to discover what is there with sensory, with being able to tell me how that works, because you're using elements. We all understand this. So to me, like you can see what that looks like. All the elements, it just makes sense to me. Does this make sense to you guys? Because this makes total sense to me. I'm loving this. Tell me how this works, this biology, the belief, our cells. Are you telling me if I go within and my thoughts and my intention setting and my imagery inside my mind is going to affect the cellular structure of my body and whether or not how I am reacting to life, both physically, mentally, and emotionally?
Well, it can. I mean, I'm saying it can because I always feel it's an issue for people, especially if they've got a life-threatening illness, that they didn't change what was happening in their body. They didn't change their disease. And they go in, immediately into feeling guilt that they did it wrong. They didn't know how to do it. They were thinking wrong. And part of one of my beliefs is, we have the potential to change what's going on, the opportunity, but that may not be our script this lifetime. It may not be how we die. I mean, not to say that I can't say, I think people can choose their dying. People can choose their time of dying, and they can keep themselves well as best they can. And I'm always leery about saying you can change what's happening inside. I like to give the potential that you can, the possibility, but not, I mean, we've got so many layers of consciousness. What's going on under our intention? What's going on under our imagination? All that subconscious stuff, is it I don't deserve it? Whatever's percolating that we're not even aware of. We have to hold, we have to hold the possibility that we can change and surrender to, and if we can't change it, how do I stay in a place of harmony and peace and love with it? Many years ago, I was given the likely diagnosis of liver cancer, and all the tests were coming back. It was a rare liver cancer, and I was doing all the inner work and having people pray for me and all kinds of things that wouldn't be considered science. And when the biopsy came back, it was a benign tumor. I questioned myself. Did I change it? Did I really change what was everybody calling cancer to something that wasn't cancer? Or did they make a mistake? And fortunately, I had the support from most people, most friends. Hold the possibility. Don't put yourself on a tumor board if that's not, you don't have a tumor. So, I mean, we have to, the reason I was doing all that inner work was I knew that stress and fear were going to be a problem if I did have cancer. And I needed to make sure that I stayed as much out of stress and fear and anxiety as possible. So what could I do that would take me out of that? And then I would deal with the ultimate diagnosis. But I just knew during that 3 months time, I needed to be in a place of, as much as I could, peace. Yeah, I did.
That's beautiful. With the knowingness that, the possibilities are there. And I love how that you put that. So to encourage everybody to be open to the possibility of what may be. I love that. And I think it's beautiful. And I also love that you're not attached to it. You haven't been attached to any outcomes. You're just sort of anticipating what's coming versus I hope everyone's hearing this. Stress, anxiety, fear, all of that's based in future stuff that hasn't even happened yet, right?
Right.
So, but in this case, it is something that is happening, and you're choosing to, now you have something that is currently happening, and your response mechanism is what altered your experience, is what I feel.
It definitely altered my experience. It definitely altered my experience. And you know what fear is? False evidence appearing real.
Oh, that's right. I hope everybody just eat that for breakfast.
Yeah.
False evidence appearing real. Fear. This idea, talking about the layers and what's underneath, and not worthy, not deserving. I mean, I'm still doing that inner work, still playing that through. What I'm picking up here is that your class is really going to help people get to the essence of who that they truly are.
Well, that's what getting to yes, it was called yes. It was interesting when I was first teaching, it was the course last year, the course was called Your Elemental Soul. And it was going to be the elemental soul, but I couldn't buy that domain. It had to be Your Elemental Soul. And I thought, that's perfect. That's yes. And getting to yes is about getting to who you are and loving all of you, who you are. I mean, often I've taught the cell classes falling in love. I want you to fall in love with this invisible universe that is you. I mean, most of us, cells are abstract. We don't have a tangible experience of them. We can't see them. We can't hear them. So fall in love with them. They are us. Cells are us.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm loving this right now. The way that acronym yes. Can we all just type yes in the chat, please? Yes. Yes to falling in love with yourself. Yes to falling in love with, I love how you talk about that. We can't see ourselves. It's invisible. Falling in love with the invisible universe that is you.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I teach with all these pictures, so it doesn't have to be invisible, but.
Oh, let's talk about that. So we have, I love that, guys. Here, I'll just show you again. In case you're just popping on. This is just beautiful. Now, I'm going to bring up this one. Let's talk about this. What is this?
Okay, this is a taste. And again, let's see what your audience says. Is it sweet, sour, bitter, or savory, or salty? Is it sweet sugar, bitter caffeine, table salt, or you might not know the term umami or savory. So just guess. What's your intuition? I mean, to me, the images are also doorways into our intuition, especially when I've done so many tasting events with this. So I'm not going to tell the answer yet until if anybody's posting in what they think it is.
I don't know, but I'm sitting here looking at it. It looks like frayed nerves.
Exactly.
or frayed electricity wires.
Well, that's caffeine. It's caffeine. And
Oh shit, Neezers.
yeah, it's what it does to us. And hundreds of years ago, a Greek philosopher, Democritus, said that we didn't really even know about atoms, but he was talking about atoms. Bitter tastes would be raggedy, would be prickly, and exactly what we see here. And usually when I do tasting events, I would say about 70% of people can know that's caffeine intuitively. So I use these images in one of the ways to tap into your intuition, what you already know. That's part of our godly universe. Yeah.
I'm loving this. Okay, so caffeine. All right, so obviously then it probably, and not just caffeine, guys. Bitter. This is bitter caffeine.
Bitter caffeine.
Yeah. So like straight black coffee.
Straight purified caffeine.
Caffeine, not coffee.
Not coffee. Although coffee will give me prickly pictures, but I like doing the pure chemicals for some of especially when I was doing the work on taste. What's the pure chemical without the interference of whatever else is in the environment with it?
Okay, beautiful. Yeah. So I want to go over these books again, everybody. Okay. You can go right to her website. It's floating across the bottom of the screen. Okay. Secrets of Your Cells. This is fascinating. Her class is coming up. You might want to get in it and quickly before it fills completely up. It probably is getting close, I would imagine, because you are just such a wealth of knowledge. I want to just touch a little bit on the book here, The Ultimate Immunity, just briefly, because we're coming into our last 10 minutes. And then when we bring you back again, we'll go deeper into some of the subjects that we brought up today. And we're going to get some questions from the audience too, and have them ready for you so that we can take an even deeper dive. Let's just talk about that book and what that it holds. So anybody that is facing maybe a situation with immunity, we know that the C19, the C19 has a lot of, that's an immunity thing where the whole world is all about being immune right now, right?
Right. Ultimate Immunity is a book I co-wrote with Elson Haas, who's an MD. And basically it breaks down immunity, looking at how does the immune system work? And again, at a cellular level, what are different immune kinds of diseases, autoimmunity, allergies, and then gets into the last half of the book basically is how do we manage our health to keep immune balance, from stress management, from qigong, from diet, from nutrition, what kinds of herbs can we take? So it's keeping ourselves balanced, basically keeping our inner environment healthy. I mean, that's, rather than being afraid of COVID, what do I need to do to keep my body in a way that can fight the virus, get rid of the virus? Exercise, eat right. What am I doing? I'm eating a lot of sweets. That's the wrong thing to do. But I'm aware of it. So it's really a practical guide, along with some basic knowledge of how the immune system works, what's infection all about. Simple.
I'm loving that. Oh, I can't wait to take a deeper dive. So, all right, listen, we're going to do a shift back because I'm going back to this class again. And the reason why is because this is really important stuff, y'all. Like, I need this class, and I have been doing my work forever. But here's creativity, pulling that out of, I love to be creative. I love to play. And your class sounds like a playground.
Well, it's interesting because with the elements, I've gone so far out of my science with the elements, I now do readings with people. And in the classes, I've attempted to do mini readings for people, which I won't probably do in this class. But in this, what readings are is like, well, what's your elemental signature? What does it look like? So there's something in seeing the geometric shapes for people that opens their intuition about, oh, that, when I will explain to them, you know, an air person with a lot of air is more intellectual, more social than, say, someone with a lot of water who's more emotional, more soulful. So just to kind of understand the lens that the elements give us from just the moment of our birth, we understand ourselves a little bit better. I mean, I've had people tell me when I've done a reading, oh, I always felt this about myself, but you confirmed it. And it's not me confirming it, it's the elements. I mean, I put in my own intuitive insight, which has been new for me because I had been so used to depending on the intellect, but to really ask for guidance along with what's the signature look like. And people I've had in the first class I taught just with around the elements, a woman made jewelry related to her signature that made a huge difference. Another one is redesigning her house and using her predominant elements in the structure of her floors and on her walls. So it's it's interesting to see.
Okay, that's way cool. Okay, so like I'm an Aquarius, but I'm a cusp baby, but so I'm an Aquarius fire goat.
You're so you're on the cusp of Aquarius Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So are you stubborn?
I think I've had my moments. Yeah. I think I was more stubborn when I was younger than I would be now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the image for Aquarius Capricorn is quite amazing because what I had done, not just photograph the minerals of each sign, was what's the alchemy of mixing Capricorn with Pisces or Capricorn with Aquarius. And Capricorn with Aquarius, the square, Aquarius is a square or rectangle, and Capricorn looks like bone, and it rules, it rules the bones. And so the Capricorn surrounds the air. And ultimately, if I let it long enough, it would fill up the air. So I've, in creating this deck and really looking at these pictures, it's Capricorn is creating boundaries for the air, which is boundless. Air, air and water just want to move. They don't have any structure, but the Capricorn provides some structure that you may want to burst out of. As an air person, it's like, don't confine me. I don't.
Oh no. Oh, so much so that because I'm on the computer a lot because I'm exceptionally creative and as you know, and I'll go get in my car because I have to get out of the house. I have to go smell. I have to be near the ocean. I have to smell the water. I have to smell that air, but my happy place is in nature. It's my feet in Mother Gaia and just like touching and looking at beauty and capturing trees and the essence of all that is already here on this earth. Because to me, nature is the way that I get away from all this. So I love that you're saying that. That's cool.
It would be interesting to see your whole, the whole chart. It's beyond the three, it's beyond where you are on the cusp. It's your rising sign. It's the moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus. Like, how do they all add up? That's to take a look. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's fascinating because I have all of it. Well, of course I will. I mean, I have all of it. So I think, but I don't always remember. I think my moon is a Libra.
Okay.
No, I'm not sure. It might be a Venus. I don't know. I could tell you. I know my son's Aquarius. Thank God. I know what that is. I mean, geez, Jiminy Crickets. How many times around the sun? So so now we are all into the readings, and this is just even more fascinating because as we have touched on many different things that you do, what it's been great, which is what we said before we started, you're going to be coming back. I would like you to come back every couple of weeks and take a deep dive into the subjects and then get some questions from the audience to fit, so that we can actually uncover more about what it is that you have brought forward, because the work you do is some of the most extraordinary work I've ever seen. So, wow. So before we end for today, what other messages would you like to leave our audience with regarding your work, how they can use it for themselves, and then we'll go back into how they can sign up for your class?
Well, what I would say, you're beautiful. You're absolutely beautiful, inside and out, and to not forget that. And I never talk about God in a class or here, but just to recognize that God or Holy Spirit, Allah, whatever you want to call, the divine, is the sacred, is part of us, is part of you. And to find moments in time, moments every day, to be able to honor yourself, honor the sacred in you. The original name for the book was supposed to be Cells in the Sacred, but Sounds True changed it. So we're sacred beings, and to be able to recognize that is really important, and have fun with it, and go out in nature, because we're all if nothing else, this year has shown how we're all connected. And in terms of the pandemic and whatever is happening politically, so experience who you are from a loving place and send that vibe out. We can really change our world, I think. And go out in nature, enjoy it. That's what I did yesterday.
Did you? And you live in a beautiful area too, so
Yeah,
it's extraordinary. And I love that you brought up vibe. That's it right there. Spark that G vibe. It's your gratitude vibration. The gratitude vibration. G vibe. I love that. It's all in the vibe. So one more thing. Why is it so important for us to love ourselves?
Well, if we don't love ourselves, we can't love anybody else. I mean, we have to know that experience. And I know I certainly go through periods of you dummy, or why did you make this mistake? What's the shame about? And like, well, how do we let it go? How do we let that kind of chatter go and let be? Let go and let be. This is what it is. I chose this path. And aren't I lucky to really, I mean, right now, especially here in Northern California, aren't I lucky to be here? Aren't I lucky to have wandered with the microscope? That's not anything I would have foreseen when I started being a scientist. So can we be grateful? I mean, that's probably the most important thing for any of us. What is there to be grateful for? And on my website, there's a free gratitude meditation, and welcome you to check it out. And I also invite you to sign up for my newsletter, because then you can get the chapter on the cytoskeleton, a free download, and learn more about your vibration. And it also talks about letting go, because how the cells change their genetic expression is letting go of tension.
Letting go of tension. This is beautiful. So I am so honored and blessed that you have been here today. For everybody that is watching now and going to watch the replay, please type into the chat, I am lucky.
I am lucky.
I am lucky. I am lucky. What a beautiful thing. I am lucky.
I am lucky.
I am lucky.
Thanks, Debbie. Thank you. I am lucky.
I am lucky. I am lucky. Woo!
Ooh,
So
I'll drink to that with a cuppa.
Cuppa Grata. Cup of gratitude, everybody. I love you. I love you so much. And thank you for being a great audience. We will have Dr. Barrett back. And this is Denise. I love that. Denise, you definitely need to have her on and interview her for sure.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Beautiful, beautiful. And then Ronnie said, have fun. Love it. All right, y'all. I love it. And Kathy says, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love this. Teresa says, I am lucky. All right, guys, we're going to end the broadcast, but just keep typing it away. I am lucky.
I'm lucky.
Remember, the key to shifting everything is letting go and loving you.
Yeah.
Peace. We'll see you back again next week.